The spacious atrium of Argentech's global headquarters gleamed with glass and steel, reflecting the morning sun in 100 different prisms. People in tailored suits hurried across polished floors. The air smelled faintly of coffee, ambition, and something indefinable that clung to success. At the heart of it all stood Jonathan Pierce, the billionaire CEO whose calm demeanor masked a mind always calculating the next strategic move. As he made his way toward his corner office, his assistant, Marisol, followed close behind, tablet in hand, outlining today's impossible-to-ignore challenge, a software glitch that threatened the billion-dollar merger set to finalize in 8 hours. Down in the service corridors, Rosa polished a brass railing outside the executive lounge. Though employed as a maid here, she quietly took pride in every surface she touched. Her daughter, Tasha, 17, hovered nearby, watching her mother with bright, curious eyes. After school, Tasha came down to help her mother close up before heading home to finish homework. No one in Argentech's polished public areas knew that behind the mirrored glass, in the utility wings, a different world thrived, one where hard work meant more than just a title, and where brilliance was often hidden behind unassuming smiles. Marisol's voice crackled softly over Jonathan's earpiece. "Sir, the finance team reports the predictive algorithm crashed again overnight. At the rate it's going, the acquisition numbers will be off by 0.2%, enough to void our agreement." He sighed, buttoning his coat. "I'll handle it personally," he replied, though he had no idea how he'd fix a codebase he hadn't written. He glanced down the hallway and spotted Rosa's uniform. Recognition struck him. She was the woman who'd fetched his morning latte the day before and offered him a warm smile without asking for a tip. He made an abrupt decision. "Marisol, find out where that woman from catering lives. I need her to point me to her daughter." Rosa froze when 2 security officers approached. "Ms. Delgado, the CEO would like to see your daughter for a moment." Confusion flickered across her face. "My daughter?" "Sir, she's just a schoolgirl." The officer nodded. "He insists." Jonathan stood at the end of the corridor, arms folded, expression unreadable. Tasha stepped forward, heart pounding. He introduced himself quietly. "I'm Jonathan Pierce. Marisol tells me you're very good with puzzles. I have one you might solve." He led her to a whiteboard in a small meeting room, markers waiting. Tasha felt out of place in her school uniform, among luxury leather chairs and mahogany finishes. But curiosity overcame her nerves. On the board was a half-written sequence of numbers and variables, snippets of code representing the complex predictive model Argentech used to forecast market movements. The glitch lay somewhere in the interplay of functions F and H. Jonathan turned to Tasha. "We've run every test, debugged every line, but we can't find the root cause." "You've got 5 minutes." Tasha hesitated. She knew nothing about billion-dollar acquisitions. She didn't care for fancy offices or charts. But math puzzles were her passion. She approached the board with a steady hand. As she circled parts of the sequence, she murmured under her breath, "If F applies transformation X, then H's output shifts by delta Y, so the mismatch is here." Jonathan watched incredulously as she quickly isolated 2 misplaced parentheses and a variable assignment that contradicted the original algorithm design. With a few swift strokes, she corrected the error. Then she turned back, eyes wide at the realization. She'd done it. The room held its breath. Marisol, peeking under the glass, snapped a photo. Jonathan double-checked. The simulation ran flawlessly. The merger numbers aligned, and the 1 billion valuation held firm. He pressed a button, and the analysis team's consoles lit up with green confirmation. He looked at Tasha and said simply, "How did you know?" Tasha shrugged. "I love patterns. I practice solving logic puzzles every day after school." She expected praise for a school quiz prize, not a fortune saved. Jonathan's mind raced. He realized that true talent often hides where you least expect it. He dismissed security and his assistant. Turning solely to Tasha, he asked, "Would you ever consider coming here to work on problems like this?" "We could offer a full scholarship to the best computer science program. Internship at Argent Tech, maybe more." Tasha's mouth fell open. Rosa, rushing in, embraced her daughter. The contrast between the high-rise boardroom and this tear-streaked reunion underscored the moment's gravity. A mother's pride meeting a CEO's respect. Within days, Argent Tech's press release announced a new diversity and talent initiative, spotlighting young problem solvers from underserved communities. But behind the polished PR, Jonathan quietly established a mentorship program in Tasha's name, ensuring she'd have every resource to flourish. That night, as he looked over the city skyline from his office, he reflected on how a fleeting encounter with a humble maid and her brilliant daughter had reshaped his view of leadership and innovation. The world of high finance, he realized, needed more unexpected heroes to solve its greatest puzzles. Tasha's world changed overnight. She found herself touring campus grounds of a prestigious university, gazing at glass-fronted labs and meeting professors who spoke of algorithms and artificial intelligence as passionately as she once spoke of poetry. She dove into computer science courses with the same enthusiasm that once drove her to master Sudoku puzzles before breakfast. Rosa watched her daughter's transformation in awe, knowing that every sacrifice she'd made, the late nights cleaning offices, the extra shifts, had paved the way for this moment. Meanwhile, Jonathan convened his executive team in the boardroom to unveil the new initiative. "Diversity and innovation go hand in hand," he told them. "We're launching the Pierce Fellowship, targeting high-potential students from non-traditional backgrounds. Each fellow will receive tuition support, a personal mentor, and guaranteed internship placement at Argent Tech." The room buzzed with excitement, but also skepticism. Some senior executives wondered if the program would distract from quarterly targets. Jonathan silenced them with a firm nod. "Trust me, if you seek the best solutions, you must look beyond conventional pipelines. As recruiters scoured community centers, inner-city schools, and regional science fairs, stories poured in. A janitor's son who built a drone from spare parts, a food service worker's niece who coded a mobile app to track grocery stocks, a laundromat attendant's nephew who solved a cryptography challenge. Each application told of talent waiting to be discovered. Jonathan reviewed them late into the night, his initial skepticism replaced by conviction that these unconventional candidates would drive Argent Tech's next breakthroughs. Back at home, Tasha balanced her new responsibilities with the rhythms of ordinary teenage life: homework, phone calls with friends, and stolen moments playing chess with her mother. Rosa insisted they keep Sundays sacred. No lectures, no internships, just pancakes and laughter. One Sunday morning, as they stacked plates, Tasha said, "Mom, I want to start a coding club at school. Would you help me talk to the principal?" Rosa smiled. "Of course, Kariko." And so they did. At the same time, word of the Pierce Fellowship spread across the industry. Other companies scrambled to match Argent Tech's commitment, launching their own talent hunts. But Argent Tech's program stood out because it didn't just offer money, it offered community, mentorship, and a genuine belief in potential. Fellowship. Alumni began making headlines. One developed an AI tool to optimize renewable energy grids. Another created a cybersecurity protocol adopted by a major bank. And another improved medical imaging software, aiding early disease detection. Inside Argent Tech, the culture shifted. Long-held assumptions about who could contribute to cutting-edge projects dissolved. Engineers welcomed input from fresh minds. Seasoned managers learned as much from fellows as fellows learned from them. Jonathan observed these changes with pride. He knew the risk. Investing in untested talent could have backfired, costing time and resources. Instead, it paid dividends far beyond the original problem Tasha solved. A year later, Tasha returned to the same corridor where she'd first fixed that code. Jonathan joined her, this time not as CEO to apprentice, but as mentor to mentee. He handed her a stylus and led her to a touchscreen display showing Argentech's latest predictive model, a vastly more sophisticated system, integrated with natural language processing and real-time data feeds. "We're rolling this out across multiple divisions next quarter," he said. "Your feedback has been invaluable. And honestly, I wouldn't have reached this point without you." Tasha tapped a few inputs, her confidence evident. She suggested tweaks to the user interface, improvements in data visualization, and an optimization to reduce latency in streaming results. Jonathan nodded, impressed still by her insight. He recalled the day they first met, a chance encounter beneath the glinting atrium lights. Who would have thought a maid's daughter would become the catalyst for such transformative change? Under the gleaming skyline, Argentech celebrated its 10th anniversary of industry leadership. At the gala, Jonathan took the stage before investors, partners, and employees. "Tonight isn't about how far we've come," he began, "but where we're going and who will take us there." He invited Tasha forward. She stood beside him, poised and composed. Everyone applauded as he handed her the microphone. She spoke of access and opportunity, of hidden talents waiting in overlooked places, and of the power of belief. Her words resonated far beyond the banquet hall. News outlets ran features on how one young woman's puzzle-solving skills saved a deal and sparked a movement. Students in remote towns tuned into live streams of the gala, dreaming that they too could be discovered. And executives worldwide reconsidered the barriers they'd built around talent pipelines. Years passed. Tasha graduated at the top of her class, then led a team integrating quantum algorithms into financial risk assessments. Rosa retired from her cleaning duties, but never left Argentech entirely. She volunteered in the fellowship office, greeting applicants with the same warmth she once greeted Jonathan. Fellowship alumni mentored new cohorts, creating a self-sustaining ecosystem of talent. Jonathan watched all this unfold with satisfaction. He understood now that leadership wasn't about maintaining a fortress of success. It was about tearing down walls to let brilliance in. The moment when he saw Tasha working that glitch on the whiteboard remained the fulcrum of his philosophy, a reminder that genius can thrive anywhere, and that true vision recognizes value masked by circumstance. On the day Argentech closed, its largest acquisition yet, an innovative biotech firm, the team gathered in the atrium once more, just as on that fateful morning. As celebrations erupted around him, Jonathan sought out Rosa and Tasha. He found them by the polished railing. "Thank you," he said, voice thick with gratitude, "for everything." Tasha smiled. "We did it together," she replied. He nodded, knowing that their partnership, a humble maid's daughter and a billionaire CEO, had rewritten the rules not just of a company, but of what was possible when opportunity meets preparation. And so Argentech's legacy continued, built on patterns of brilliance discovered in unexpected places, guided by the conviction that the greatest problems often have the simplest solutions, waiting for the right mind to reveal them. The world watched, learned, and followed proof that sometimes the future's brightest light shines from behind the most unassuming faces.